close the YouTube and start it again, okay? Because there's it was a mixing now. Now, it's okay now. You do know the title of the project. You know that it is a strategic project. It belongs to the specific thematic you can see here, support to education, research, technological development, innovation. It is on this priority, which is for support technological transfer and commercialization of research results. And you see the details of the budget, and of course you can see the site of the beneficiary is the Agricultural University of Athens. We have we're 6 partners, and the University of Cordoba, the UNIMOL, the University of Molis, the Lebanese Agricultural Research Institute, the Institut d'Olivier, this is for Tunis, and the Center of Regional Research in Horticulture and European and Agricultural Biology, this for Sousse in Tunis. And of course, we can now go to the overview. First of all, we are really looking for the target group, and for those which we will benefit is listed here. I think that it is much more than this, but anyway, we need to put some numbers in order to justify, to quantify the case. We hope that we can get all these, okay? And of course, there is something which we are interested in, is to involve SMEs and IPM industry into the field, because we need to develop something which is going to be commercialized. Now, of course, part of this, the expected achievements, let me stay here. We will see this in the coming slides in more detail. We are hoping to improve these e-traps, which you have already seen by the previous colleagues, Andrea and Dionysios, and I think that Eric also mentioned this. We need to improve the set of services which we have already developed, and perhaps we need to extend this. We are hoping to develop 2 training and testing sites. Of course, these are sites. The first site is here in Attica, in Athens, and the other one is going to be in Italy with Andrea in Lazio, I think. Yeah, and the point is that we wanted to bring all the partners in these sites and see how the system is working. And of course, we need these sites in order to test the new improvements, the new developments which we are going to make before to introduce them in the big sites. These are 5 wide area sites for the olive trees and 2 wide area sites for the peach trees. So before we, perhaps we will develop this, and then during the progress of the project, we will refine we refine all these sites again, and then to provide the new services or the new traps. Now we have 2 demand-driven cross-border living. There is just to tell you that for them there is not only for the peach trees, there is one for the citrus trees, and then we are going to create 2 living labs in order to make these improvements possible. The living labs will help us to make the new developments. And finally, we're going to have the 3 startups. We're going to create, I think, 4 startups instead, and then we're going to disseminate the results, the scientific publication, to make some publications, and of course, if we will, it will be have the possibility to make a co-patent for the results which we're going to have. Now, the general objective is to facilitate clean tech sharing between research institutions and SMEs. This will be done by commercializing prototypes and new services for effective monitoring and ground spraying control for specific pests in med basin. And these pests are the Bactrocereus aureus and the medfly. Now, we support the technological transfer and the commercialization of research results. This is going to be done by enhancing the demand-driven, among the research and the industry and the SMEs in the field of the clean environmental technologies and new cultural heritage technologies and key enabled technologies. These are quite interesting. This is quite interesting because we are interested about how to reduce the CO2 in all of our actions. There are some indicators which are involved. These are the number of demand-driven cross-border living labs created for research and development and technological transfer among research and industry and SMEs. We are interested about, this doesn't mean no, it means the number, okay, of operational living labs to be created. We hope to develop this. We have to develop 2 living labs. We will see them later on. And then we have the number of spin-offs established as new enterprises and operating across borders, able to sell their products and services. Now, the general objective is to facilitate, as we say, we said this, I'm just putting this in order to have it in front of your eyes. We are interested to have services for effective monitoring and ground spraying control for these specific pests. The other indicators are going to be the forecast for sales of this, just a forecast, okay, for newly identified innovative product and services. There are some indicative numbers. Okay, the 5 million, as you can see, this belongs to the program. That means it concerns all the strategic project, and we are getting this. We have to achieve this value, the 6,100. Now, number of co-patents registered, at least 1. Let us see. We hope to achieve to do this. Now, the specific objectives. These are well determined. I think that you can have a look on that. I don't want to read all these because, you know, just a specific objective. The first one is, we have already mentioned this in the first place. The other one is the pre-commercialization of cleaner products and process articulated to produce a location-aware set of services for monitoring ground spray control solutions for the 2 pests which we are studying, and in order to create business opportunities for research results. And then we have as another specific objective is to increase dialogue and sustainable cross-border networking among spin-offs, SMEs, small farm businesses, IPM industry, stakeholders under the Living Labs framework. Innovative integrated pest management solutions, taking into account the environmental policy strategies, based on the people-to-people approach and institution capacity building. These are quite clear specific objectives, and to make them, to quantify these, we need to take into account this, we need to look upon this table. You can see that we have the different different indicators, and there's a number output indicator here according to the programs, okay, to the guide of the application. And then you will see that the indicators are going to be the number of institutions using program support for cooperation in education, research and development, the number of field of co-publications, the number of new product services developed, the number of platforms allowing pre-competitive analysis of promising products and services put in place and effective, and number of brokerage events for scientists, researchers, and enterprise organizations. Now, there is, of course, the last one is the number of technology transfer support and new intellectual property brokering services delivered. And these are, we define the measuring units for these indicators. These are the organization, the co-publications, sorry, the co-publication, the platforms, the days, and the number of services delivered. These are the measurement units. And if we go now to the project, you can see that here is the output indicator, and here is the project outputs, which we have. And of course, we have the measurement units and the targets, which we have to achieve as a project. You can see, for instance, that the indicator for e-trap devices is the indicator, the output indicator is this, okay, is going to be done by work package 3, and the product device is a device, okay, and we are going to have 2 devices. This is for the dental trap and the sticky trap for the olive trees. Now we have the services, and you can see here that we have 2 sets of services, 1 service per pest, say. We have the last deployment and operation into experimental science, and you can see that we have 2, and because these are the training sites, the small sites, which we are going to develop here in Athens and in Rome, and in Italy. And of course, you can see here that, for instance, you can have digitized field data. Okay, this is just one output. The optimized last prototypes is just one. Developed and operational of last prototypes in all sites are 8, because you can see that we are going to develop 8 wide area sites, and this is presented here, and so on. So I don't want to come down to see all these, but I think that it's quite clear. You will see that they do have 2 living labs, one for trap innovation and the other for the e-services. And of course, you can see that we have as well. Okay, I think that it's well understood now. Now, going to this table, you can see that we are going to develop the olive FruitFlyNet, the FruitFlyNet. Okay, this is the pilot prototype for the pest Bactrocera ole, and this is going to be applied for, is going to be implemented in 5 countries. That means in all of the countries, but not for all the partners. As you have already seen, we have 2 partners from Tunisia. So only 1 partner is going to develop, only the Institute d'Olivier is going to make the olive fly net, whereas the other, for the medfly, there are 3 countries which are going to deal with the citrus trees, the peach trees, and these are for the implementing partners are the other 3. There's the AUA, the UNIMOL, and the Central Research Institute in Tunisia. Now, for the test sites, we have 2 test sites, one in AUA and the other one is in the UNIMOL. I think that now it's quite clear how are we going to proceed. This is the specific objective. I think that it says here all the details. Okay. Now, coming to the work packages, you can see that we have the project management. This is the project management. These are the outputs. If you want to have a snap, just to look for each work package, what's going to produce, you may see only the first row. If you want to go into the detail, you will see each activity, what it produces. For instance, here for the project work plan, we're going to have 2 reports and for work package 1, okay? Or we may have for reporting technical reviews, we have 5 reports, 2 narrative, 2 interim, and 1 final. The same for the financial ones. If we go to work package 2, you will see this, the communication. Again, as you know, work package 1 and work package 2 we are obliged to be, the leader is going to be the beneficiary. And you will see the number of reports and the number of events which we are going to have. Now, moving to work package 3, you will see that this is the deployment and operation of the small experimental sites. You will see that at the end, we are going to produce the 2 eTrap devices, the 2 sets of e-services, the 2 test sites, and the 5 training courses. Why 5 training courses? We're supposed to have the 2 courses for bringing the partners in the test sites to have a training, and then in each of the consortium events, we are going to have a training, a field training course. Now, of course, you will see that the project work plan, honestly, for the deployment and testing of the eTrap network, we have the 2 sets of the eTraps. These are the old ones, okay, to be sure. These are the ones which you have already seen in the previous speeches. We are going to make up the deployment, etc. I think that these are now quite clear. If we go now to the work package 4, you will see that we have to develop the 8 wide area sites. Okay, and of course we have to, as the project goes on, we have to put all the improvements which we will make. Okay, so at the end of the project, we are going to have the 8 field sites, and of course the 2 sets of products which are going to be the complete, to put it in this way, to complete set of products. So I think that it is quite clear what we're planning to do here. And work package 5 is working for the living labs. Living labs, I think this is not a new idea, it's an old idea, but it has to be applied in a proper way. We think that it is not, you are not going to gain the end users if you will not involve them into the development. I mean, this is a rule. I mean, the application should be user-driven, if I put it. Of course, we have the experience about some experience about from the previous project how to develop it and how the people see the farmers have seen this application. So we are quite confident that we can attract people to tell us what we have to improve and to give them the opportunity to participate in such a development. And for this, we are using the grants which we have in order to allow specialists to participate in this project. In this project, yes. And therefore, as you can see, we have three activities here. The first one is to establish the living lab. I mean, it's a very difficult work because we have to find the rules and how are we going to put the procurements, what kind of procurements are going to be, what exactly are we going to ask for someone to do, and then to test this, because if someone is making an improvement, then we have to test this and to see if this can be applied to all sides. So this is the idea. That's why you will see the output is we are expecting to have about 6 memorandum of understanding, meaning that we are going to call them to participate in, somehow in the project and to gain from the project and to help us to overcome certain difficulties. So the living labs there are 2 living labs. The first one is regarding the e-trap and the improvements which we are going to make with the e-trap, and for the e-services. And then the final one is the pre-commercialization, which is another difficult aspect, because we are not so familiar with that. Actually, we have 2 drawbacks here. We have one drawback here. We are all public organizations, and perhaps we have not so much experience about commercializing things. But I think that this is a step in order to close the link between universities, institutions, research institutions, and the market. Okay, this is something which we have to be careful about it. That's why we are we are asking to make a business plan and how to make the approach, to get lessons from this, and then to establish the spin-offs and make an operation and cooperation with SMEs. And finally, if we can do that, okay, to go to a co-patent agreement. I'm sure that we have the potentiality to achieve this, and of course to have some publications. Now, this is the structure. This was the structure of the project. What what we have seen up to now is that what the end user wants to see. But in order to see all these beautiful services, you have to have the background, you have to have the infrastructure to do that. And this means that you need to know something about the communication architecture of this project. How are we going to, what is the architecture, the communication architecture which we are going to apply? And of course, getting lessons from the previous one, from the previous project. In this sense, I think that, of course, it's a question here, because there are many features you have to take into account. What type of farms you have, if it is easy, how are you going to apply the traps and all the trap network and all this stuff. So the approach is 3 layers. The first one is the IoT layer, this Internet of Things layer, or Internet of Everything, which of course it has the IoT trap nodes. This is the basic device which we have in the field. Okay, and we need to exchange information. That one condition is that if we are ready to go directly to the cloud, or we need to put an intermediate level to make the heavy analysis. If you imagine that if you talk about so many farms and so many information which we have to analyze, okay, we have to be careful if the cloud is appropriate to do all the job. Okay, this is a question. Now with the new system, what they are doing is they are putting an intermediate level where the heavy analysis is made, and it is close to the IoT devices which are in the field, and therefore you have no delays, you have no, you can correct things much easier, and so on. So there is a discussion about it, and I think that we need to apply the three-layer approach. That means that the IoT layer, the fog computing layer, we call this fog computing, this is an IBM terminology. Fog computing is the gateways which are between the cloud and the end devices, and where all the services are going to be implemented. That's location aware, the reduction latency, response, decrease of the cloud communication. These are the benefits which we are getting. And then to have the remote service layer, that means that we have the cloud where we store in a database processes all the user-friendly way to remote users. So this is the first thing, and I wanted to be a bit more clear, and you will see that there are many applications which are going in this way. There are many applications, and why our application is going to differ on that. You will see here that here are the farms. You can see we have here some sensors, okay, image sensors, temperature, humidity, wind, or whatever you like, and then you come into here, okay, and then you move to the cloud, and of course you have the collection, the analytics. Actually, the cloud is used only for analytics and handling the big data. Now, as you can see, perhaps it is not necessary to bring all the information to the cloud. To be more specific, if the image recognition, the PESTA identification, or the image processing and identification will be able to be done down in the field, okay, then only few numbers will go to the cloud. It is not necessary to bring them in the cloud and make all and have all the delays which may have. So in this case it is much better. But imagine, you have to consider the other case, which is if you do this, then how are you going to do the services? The services need to have storage and all this stuff which you may have in cloud. But the point is that that's why you are putting the intermediate step, because cloud is more centralized architecture, and therefore it's quite it has the drawbacks of centralized architectures. If you put fog, if you put an intermediate level, then you achieve the decentralization, and therefore you can work much more efficiently. This is the whole idea. Of course, we have to think about it and to see what are we going to apply at the end. And here is an old picture. Kostas has made this. picture. It's a good picture because it shows that we have the farm here. We have the meteorological station here. Yes, because, and you can see that we have the internet here in the cloud, and you can see that all the devices are here. So this is the good architecture. Okay, this is the centralized architecture, which we think. If we want to make a decentralized, that means that we have to put all this stuff before to go to the internet. Okay, and make the heavy analysis here, and so the communication is going to be much more easier in this sense. But we will see. We have applied this, as you see now. And now, if we move to the other one, you know this picture. This is the yellow sticky trap. I think that you discussed this with Dionysius. You got the information regarding this. Okay. And here is the other, the modified delta trap. We have made the experiments with all these traps, and we want to see how we can improve them, and we will see what improvements we need anyway. Now, if we want to, these are electronic components. You have to, the specs, just to give you an idea, is the microcomputer. Okay, because we need to have a low cost, okay, open source software. Operational stability is something which we need. Integration with various communication protocols as well, and of course with chiral to have a good connection with a high resolution camera. And integration, of course. We have Wi-Fi transceivers. You may change this, but there are, we checked this in the previous project, and we used ZigBee. Our counterpart from Spain made this, and the results were okay, were nice, but of course this means that the communication which you have in the ground is clear. I mean, there are some cases where this communication is not cannot be achieved because there are very many obstacles in the ground. We need the high resolution camera, digital sensors, okay, power supply, battery, solar panels, controllers, step-down converters, and things like that, some electronics. Networking, I mean, are we going to have a cluster topology or mesh technology, star topology? What kind? This depends, heavily depends on the field which we have. The antennas, in the experiments which we have used, we used antennas from 5 dB to up to 16, I think, dBs. Local storage, processing center, okay. And of course, details can be found there. You may find in this paper. And of course, there are some other papers which are much more detailed on this. Now, going to the living labs, the case of living labs, this is the new aspect of the project. Actually, we hope on this to give us a boost. What we want is just to promote an interactive forum among interested stakeholders, such as specialized SMEs and small food businesses, researchers, entomologists, geoinformation experts, software network engineers, farmers, brain operators, etc. And why? Because we want them to collaborate and to do something to improve the whole system. And to put, as I said before, to make the system user-driven, meaning that we want all of them to come and find what is the wrong, if there is something wrong, or what we have to do in order to achieve what they want. This is the important thing. The establishment, we need to establish, we have 3 steps. The first one is to establish the organization and operation procedure for the living lab creation. Then this means that we have the selection nomination procedure for interest parties, funding procedure based on sub-grants. We do have some sub-grants to distribute. Operation rules and monitoring, consortium agreements and IPR, that means intellectual property rights, sharing with third contributing entities. So these are the task, the first task which we need to do and to be careful about it, because they will give us the way how to cooperate with the living labs. The second one is to have network architecture choices. I'm saying network, okay, actually it's not only network, it's ETRAP network, put it in this way. First of all, we need to save energy. I mean, the problem, the whole system should consume very low levels of energy. I don't know if up to now you have seen to make sprayings, for instance, or to look for cultivation, which are very flat. I mean, they're not trees. So drones can do their work very easily. The panels which you are putting is very, they are looking to the sun, so it's very easy to handle the whole system. If you try to do that in an olive tree cultivation or in peach, you will see that you have to find certain places in order to get energy to recharge the batteries and to make the microprocessors to work. So this is a different problem. It's much more difficult. ETRAP easy hand. Now, if we come back to the, what is this? What then? Just a moment to see. Okay, no. Okay. The ETRAP easily handling a long-lasting, self-functioning, autonomous compact module. We need ideas about this. I mean, we need to, just a moment, there's some in the waiting room. Okay. We need, actually, we reach up to 75 participants. Good. Energy, ETRAP's easily handling and long-lasting, self-functioning, autonomous compact module. So we need ideas about this, how the traps, I mean, in which way the traps will work in an autonomous way. It will be not necessary to see the operator to go there and do some job. This is one point. The other point is that to make a spray mechanism optimization. I mean, can we optimize this mechanism of spraying and to work better? About the georeference spraying apparatus specially designed for automatic recording of the volume sprayed or able to not to permit out of target spraying. So these are important facts which we have to find some solutions on this. Spraying with gel insecticide formulation for less weight and higher orchard surface coverage. So types to parcels modifications for bait spraying and other improvements. I think that these are just examples. It is not necessary to apply all of them or to some of them, but we need to make a plan what we're going to propose. Perhaps some of these will be done by the consortium. I'm sure that we will be able to do something. And some others will go to the external experts. Okay. This is the same. Now, e-services improvements. We need some improvements about the e-services. So we need the ways how to best fit the needs of each crop type, cultivation, and pest. Advances, for example, towards an automatic insect identification and pest count system. You see, as Dionysios said, we just transfer the images to the cloud and then to the lab in order the entomologists discriminate the pests, the characteristics of this pest, if they are, for instance, for Dacus, if they are female or male, etc., and then to count them and do all this and feed the database. So all these things could be done somehow automatically. It is not necessary to involve the entomologist, or perhaps we will involve the entomologist in cases which are very difficult to be discriminated. Even and there are some cases of that. You may see that insects may be overlapped one the other, so you cannot discriminate them in any case. So things like that. And of course, we have to think about the new methods. That means image processing and identification combined with machine learning to give us some solution. The application should be farmer friendly. Open software solutions for smartphones and tablets. Detailed and easy use guide to the farmer. There is a system which already have been developed in the previous project, and actually we couldn't, for instance, apply this to some cultivations like cherry or invasive species. And the reason for this was that they just wanted to make, they have a different policy in a sense that if they found a pest, then they were doing cover spray. So it wasn't necessary for them to make all the decisions which we are doing, like in the case of olive trees cultivation or in the peach tree cultivation. So that's why you will see that there are somehow differences according to the pest which we are treating. We need for open software solutions for smartphone and tablets. Okay, it is not necessary to have this special GPS or things like that. We can do that. Detailed and easy to use guide to the farmer. I mean, we have made this. Can we just improve? Are there some aspects which can be improved in an easy way? If these questions will come to us like improvements and to show us the way which we can improve them, it will be very useful. And I think that this is what we want in order for the system to be accepted by the people. And now there's a lot of discussion regarding about drone technology. Okay, we decided just to use this for fruit sampling. I really doubt in this case if we can efficiently use drones for precision agriculture in such cultivations. Not because they cannot be applied, surely they can be applied, but the point is that I think that this technology now is immature to be applied in a productive phase. Okay, we need a lot of to get a lot of experience of how are we going to apply. How this technology is going to help us, etc., etc. Of course, you can see spots of improvements here and there, but the point is that is this technology ready to be in a productive phase? This is my question. And now let me come to the final one, and I will leave you. Okay, this is the business model which we are doing in the last work package. This is the preparation towards the commercialization of the prototypes. A business plan need to be developed for what and why and how to proceed in the commercialization phase. The commercialization will be organized with a strategic analysis and cooperation with SMEs and SFBs, small food businesses. I'm always saying small because, okay, there are large, but there are countries which are interested about small. They have small farms, and we have to see what kind of policy we need to apply here. I mean, dacus or medflies or flies in general do not understand borders. So we cannot deal with each farm separately, okay? So we need to make a plan. How are we going to approach all these people, and how are we going to apply our model? The establishment is 4 spin-offs. I think it's 4 spin-offs. I made a mistake before in my slides. I have to correct them. Equally shared between partners, EU partners and MBC partner countries. Actually, there will be 2 business plans, one for EU countries and the other one for the Tunisian and Lebanon, in which we will get all the information we need in order to make a good business plan. The spin-offs will be consulted by relevant experts. These topics, I think that it is clear this. And now that each spin-off will be directed by a CEO, this means that the program is paying in order to have a specific guy to handle and to work with all these problems and to achieve its final outputs. And of course, these guys should be very, very, very. We have to careful about we have to careful to choose the best guys, which will allow us to give a push to the commercialization of the product, which we are going to send to the people. Spin-offs are important, of course, in local regional economic development, because we are hiring local staff, sourcing local supplies, etc. And finally, we have to involve SMEs and SFBs in the project to access research and innovation and commercialization project results, create business opportunities by translating the project results in workable technologies, leading to the market solution, innovation developments, services, field application testing, spraying methodologies. All these will be published in journals. And of course, we work on signing a co-patent for any involved innovation. This means that if other participants give us some good solution to a specific problem, of course, they will participate in this co-patent. This is it. I thank you very much. I don't know if you find this interesting, but anyway. Now, I don't know. Oh, this is the YouTube. Now, So how are we going to proceed now? I don't know. Are there any questions? I would like to, if someone wants a question to make our life easier, it would be better to address to a specific person. I mean, to whom the question is going to. Is there any question? Is someone who can? You can just unmute by yourself.
Yes.
You can do it. You can do it by yourself.
Can I speak? Can I speak?
Of course.
Thank you very much.
How, Braham?
Braham, it is. I'm honored. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this nice presentation. I have, in fact, a general question dedicated perhaps to Andrea, Enrique, or you. What about the density of electronic traps per hectare, according to citrus, for example, peach or olives? And what about the natural enemies? The enemies trapped in the trap or captured in the trap? How to count them electronically or in the lab? And the fruit sampling, we have to sample the fruits to analyze the population of the medfly or the duckies? And thank you.
Yes, okay. To whom this question was addressed?
Well, it's okay. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, the question should be answered by many people here, because we are not well. As far as I know, there is no difference between e-monitoring and monitoring in terms of problems with natural enemies and so on. The number of traps per hectare. Again, I am not a specialist on that. I mean, on e-trapping, but the number of traps per hectare when they are going to be used for monitoring is, I think, should be similar, whether either they are electronic or e-monitoring traps or normal traps. It is well established in the regulation. At least in Spain, in the integrated pest management guide, how many traps, I mean sticky traps or fly traps, are necessary to use per hectare in order to take pest decision making. Okay. So the key problem is that if the traps are e-traps, the human effort is lower and the cost of the sampling is lower. So the great advantage of using e-traps is to highly reduce the cost, and probably also to proceed with the site-specific monitoring. This is quite important also. But again, I have never worked with e-trapping. Okay, I only is my opinion. Regarding natural enemies, again, whether or not a trap has a problem for natural enemies, you know that depending on the traps, the captures of natural enemies is lower or higher. The problem with the trap is going to be the same depending on whether they are e-trap or not, because as you have realized, they are common traps. We have provided several samples that have been adapted to become an e-trap. But the debate in the trap is pheromone, parapheromone, or color, or food bait. So this is not going to change when we have an e-trapping trap. So the problems regarding whether the traps are specific or not for the target pest remain when we deal with e-trapping. Okay.
Okay.
So this is my opinion, and the specificity of the trap is different when you use a trap, a sticky yellow trap, or a e-trap like the one that EES developed in the project. They are different traps. But if Dionysios or Theodore or Andrea has some other opinion, I apologize if I am not okay, but your key questions remains to be answered independently on whether we have e-trapping or not. And at least in Spain, the number of traps per hectare for pest decision making is well established. Okay?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I don't know if someone has to add something. Andrea, do you want to add something?
Yes. Can I add something about the trap? Basically, the attraction system and the structure is similar to the traditional trap. In case of Medfly, is a Jackson trap that has a structure of delta with a sticky panel on the bottom. So basically, the attraction range, the lure and so on is the same. So also the use, the density will be similar to the conventional trap. I think this will be discussed in the project, because we have to see, according to the kind of network that you want to establish, the surface of the orchards and so on, how many traps use. If I can make a general comments about your presentation, Theodore, also, for me that I followed the previous project is quite clear, and the structure of this project, and there are some very interesting additions compared to the previous one. One is the living lab that can be very exciting, but also, for example, I have a question for you. How do we recruit experts in the various aspects that you want to improve? Do you have any idea? Each of us must look for expert in the respective countries.
Can I say something?
Yes, yes. Please.
Good. Now we are coming to the management questions. So to the management questions. But anyway, I can just give you a small idea. I think that the idea is, first of all, to make the stakeholders to participate in the product. If we will not achieve this, then there will be no any success. This is the first one. So I think that it is up to us. That's why there is a task 5.1 in which we are going to discuss all these things. And how are we going to procedure? What type of questions are we going to put? How the procurements are going to be made? All the details. So I think that this is a quite important task, and that's why as you can see in the project, it starts almost immediately. It has already started, to put it in this way.
Theodore.
Okay. Yes.
Enrique from Spain. Well, it is clear that the project is ambitious in this point. And for me, there are two key points. The first one is that in order to make involvement of stakeholders, it is quite important to show them the advantages of this strategy. And they are very, people from the responsible of the companies, farmers, all stakeholders in the field. They are quite clever, and they have to realize at the beginning that this is something very important and very powerful in order to take their interest. Okay, so it's very important in the demonstration when we show how the system works, etc., to have good results and to show them how important could be in the future. In the other way, I think that the project is also ambitious considering the general situation in Spain. I mean, in the Mediterranean, I think all around Europe, in the point building companies. I mean, building companies, creating spin-off. You know, it's ambitious. It's ambitious. It's not easy. You know, unfortunately, this is what it's like in Europe. Many people, at least in our country, I think in several countries in the Mediterranean region, creating companies is an ambitious objective, no? And I fully agree with Andrea in that this is a key point in the project. Taking the stakeholders involved and the point of creating or growing spin-off. It's this both things are highly depend on how the technology is working. So please, let's make the technology as powerful as possible.
Just to add, you make a good point, Eric. That's why we have around 16 demos and events. Don't look for the COVID, but we have 16 demos. And the reason for that is because we wanted, and they usually start 1 year ahead. That means that we have made some improvements, okay?
But the key, Theodore, sorry, the key question is how many companies were created in the first FruitFly project?
Oh, no one.
No one. So why? And I think that the answer to this question is key for FruitFly-2. Why no company was created? So I think that the key answer to this question is the guarantee of success for FruitFly-2. To solve any possible problems, I don't know, I am not especially, you know, in e-trapping, in location-aware systems. I trust you in this point, but improving the technology is a key point in order to get involved with the stakeholders and to make it possible to develop companies. Everything is depending on the quality and developing of the quality and of the technology. The technology has to be powerful, has to be well developed, and then I strongly feel that we are going to have the stakeholder involved, and we are going to probably create companies. But if the technology is not working, or if the possible problems that you found in FruitFly-1 are not solved, so it will be more difficult to proceed in this FruitFly-2 with more success in terms of stakeholder involvement and company creation. I mean, company build.
The point is that if we have only one company, one or two companies in the consortium, then this makes all the others to sustain from participating. The key point here is that we are the key institutions. I mean, even if you look at the companies, they were looking for you because they know that you are expert. So they will come to you. You will not go to them.
But we deal with a product. We have a product to be.
No,
we have a product.
Just a moment. Then we are trying at this moment to give a solution, a real solution. Okay, and we hope to succeed. And then I think it will be much easier to approach them. Okay, with your terms. This is important. With your terms. We have discussed with companies. This doesn't mean that we will not discuss with companies, but they have just their own way to go. Okay, I don't agree. I don't disagree with that. Okay, but at the moment we want to solve the problem as experts, and I think that we can do that because we have the cultivations. We have the people to work. We are the think tank. Put it in this way. So we can work on that and provide the solution. And if we provide the solution, then this solution can be, we can sell it, this solution, we can give it to the people, and of course they will come and cooperate for this solution. This is the approach. That's why I'm saying that this is a research project, okay, which give us at the moment the right to go ahead and offer a solution to a crucial problem and to distribute it. This is the approach. I don't know if, but anyway, I don't want to monopolize the discussion. Is there anyone who wants to take part in this discussion or to make any other question? Okay.
Theodore, if you want.
Yes.
If you want, I can
Yes.
say just to say that if we come back to the question of Graham, we see that about the density of trap. Okay, this is a question that we have to discuss because it depends on several factors. Okay, about the natural enemies, to say that also for the managing authority from EU, they had asked to count the beneficiaries caught on the e-trap. So we have added a special activity on this. And we can do this manually or by the e-monitoring. This was important for them. Theodore, they ask,
Yeah.
the reviewers ask to add an activity. And also, there are some issues, of course, there are several issues that we have to discuss within the project. Let's say how to collect the fruit samples, how to have a picture of the damage level in the field if the pest has started to infest olives. But there are ideas about this for e-monitoring which we will discuss. So there are points which we have to consider. But if you want to say about the previous project, in this project, it was not an obligation to make a company because it was only to develop the material, the product. But in this project, because in the new one, this is a strategic project, so we have to proceed. And also we have the experience of the previous one. But in this new project, we are lucky because we can, through the living labs, we can attract the interest of specific companies or researchers who can help us with this specific needs that we will identify, as Theodore explained. So we have to consider all this, and so I hope we'll manage to proceed to make a good product to answer the questions of the farmers and the SMEs, and then to proceed to the spin-off, which could prepare the commercialization of the project.
Thank you very much.
Has been built on this target, let's say. Okay, this is what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Dionis. Thank you.
Good. So, is there any other question for someone else?
Yes, can I speak?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Hello, everybody. Thank you for all the presentation. I think for natural enemies, we have to look for food samplings. So maybe we have parasitoid. So in this part, we have included parasitoid in spraying decision. I don't think e-trapping must attract beneficial because it's based on food bait for example, for olive fruit flower. But I have one question. I think this one for Dionysius, maybe, I don't know. The application labs, so we distribute the information for the farmers. This information should be in different language, yeah? So there is a choice of language in this application?
If the application can be in different languages, yes.
So maybe farmer can choose between English, Arabic, or French, or Spanish?
Yeah, this is another point, yes.
Should I add something? Okay, I think that we have considered this in the previous project, and what we discovered is that we made all these orders very simple, in a sense that everyone could understand them. Okay, so I think that this problem can be solved in this way. But first of all, it is. And I think that it's quite clear, because all the orders which are given by the system are very short and clear. Okay, so I think that there was no point on that. Okay, of course, if we want to make it much more not complicated, but much more advanced, say, okay, then you may need to consider this. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know. Is there any question? No.
Theodore, just
Yes.
one comment.
Yes.
About for us, as we didn't participate in the first FruitFly project, we need the phase of knowledge transfer is very important for us. And I want to ask you now, in the COVID period, do you have any contingency plan? Because I mean, knowledge transfer in this sense will be very difficult online. I mean, all these traps or this architecture of the traps, it will be impossible online. Okay, and as you know, in the work package 3, the knowledge transfer courses is essential or very important to begin the project in other sites. I mean, if you have any contingency plan or ideas about this.
You're right. I mean, I quite agree. I mean, COVID makes a very bad situation in all over the project. And there's one more problem with our project, because our project is time dependent. I mean, when we start the project, it's very, 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 very important. Okay, because in the first place, I was I was hurried to start the project, because I wanted to make all the work which it was necessary to do before the, to put it in this way, I wanted to catch the cultivation period, to put it in this way. The system should work on May, June, July. So you had to make all this work to be ready, okay? And this, it was a difficult task. Now the situation was more difficult. We have to think about it, and we have to talk about it tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I understand what you are saying. Okay, exactly. I understand. I really understand, and I really appreciate it. But we have to think the way to overcome this. Okay,
perfect.
We have to think about it.
Yeah, this is important
to make the best solution.
Like Spain, I mean, like us, like UCOP, because we didn't participate in the first.
Yeah, I know.
And we need a basic knowledge transfer, not in the entomological sense, but however in the informatic and the architecture of the e-traps, the installation, all these aspects.
And from my side, what I always is saying is that one image gives the whole book. Okay. I know what you're saying. Okay, we will try to find a solution on that. Okay, and I think that we will have the time during the kickoff meeting to discuss this aspect and to see what actions are we going to take. Okay, if we need to make some complementary actions or something. For instance, we lose the kickoff meeting. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
In a sense that we didn't visit Lebanon. Beirut. So, no. Is there anything else? So I think that can close this discussion. and to call you for tomorrow for the kickoff meeting, okay? And okay, I thank you very much, all of you, okay? I think that you really, how are you then? And I think that it was quite interesting because you said some questions which are very important, particularly the last one. So, so I think that we have to discuss for all this. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Okay. And nice to see you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Nice.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye to all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.